Hey, welcome to The Painted Peach. I'm Mary, and this is a Take 5 Gone Batty playlist hosted by myself, Jeannie's Palette, and Funky Junk Inspiration. You can find the tags for their pages and the playlist link in my description. Today I'm using a grapevine wreath that I created from grapevines in my own yard, and we are using this fabric to cut us out a bat shape and a couple of candy corns. This fabric is buffalo check, but it will not be once we get through. You can use any pattern and just use some paint to make it the color you need. So I'm going to use some black chalk paint and I'm going to paint this bat. I'm only going to do the front side for video purposes, but you could paint the front and back. Once I have it all painted, you just want to make sure it's good and dry, and then we're just going to start gluing our bat together. And as we glue, we're going to stuff it a little bit with some stuffing from an old pillow that I have. I'm using regular hot glue to glue my bat together. They do have hot glue that is fabric glue, and then you can also use like a fabric tack, but for video purposes that would not dry quick enough, so I'm using hot glue. And most of the time, I'm not gonna lie, I use hot glue anyway. I'm not a patient creator. Instead of going out and purchasing stuffing, most of the time I'll use old pillows that are worn out, that we're going to throw out anyway, and I just take the stuffing out of those and use them in my stuffy projects. I'm using one of those Dollar Tree mask applicators to push down the sides so that I don't burn my fingers. You could also use those little fingertip things you get from the Dollar Tree. I find that if I use those, I use a different finger. So I like using the mask applicator, and it's silicone, so the glue will just peel right off. As I'm stuffing, I'm using a pencil or a stick or something like that to make sure that I get it nice and plump and stuffed tight in there. Now I'm just taking some Posca pens and I'm drawing out another candy corn. We're going to need 2 candy corns. So I'm using some chalk paste and paints, and we are just making a black, orange, and white candy corn. We're going to make sure those are nice and dry, and then we're going to cut it out. I'm only going to do one right now to show, and we're going to stuff that just like we did the bat. It's a little harder with the small ones, but just take your time and you'll get it nice and plump as well. Now I'm taking some air dry clay. This is foam clay, and I'm going to make a pumpkin from this clay to add to our wreath as well. I'm trying to incorporate different things like fabrics. I do have some wood pieces that I'm going to use, and then this clay pumpkin. I'm using one of those sticks you get from the Dollar Tree in a pack for my perduncle. And then we're going to just shape out a face and paint it with some orange chalk paste. Here you see me pull a piece of fabric or cut a piece of fabric and kind of frazzle it up, and I'm going to use some tacky glue to add that as our nose on our little jack-o'-lantern pumpkin. I have some rusty pieces that I'm going to use for the eyes, and these are little buttons, or I decided to use stars, I think, little tiny stars for the mouth. These are little wooden stars. I'm not sure where I got these, possibly Hobby Lobby, but there's really tiny ones in there that I use for the mouth. Now we're going back to our bat. I do have a tag to add to it, but I am going to use a transfer or stencil, whichever you call it, and I'm going to put a little saying on our bat. I do want to remind you to check my description for the link to the playlist and watch all the creators in today's Gone Batty playlist. Alright, back to our cute little bat. We're going to put this stencil on with some chalk paste, and I believe this one says, "Come on in, I'm already disturbed." I think that's what it says, but you'll see it at the end. I'm just using some Dune colored chalk paste, and I'm using one of the squeegees just to put it on there. Sometimes with fabric you get some bleeding, but I didn't this time, thankfully, and he turned out super cute. We're just making sure that's nice and dry so I don't smear it, because I tend to do that. And then we are going to put up our paste and move on to the next step. So I have this piece that I cut off of a wire ribbon. It's a little primitive ribbon and it has wire still in it. And I'm just using that on the bat, and I'm kind of twirling the ends, and then we're going to add this little tag to it that says Batty on it, and it's one that I created off camera. And we're just going to add some buttons for his eyes. Okay, now I'm just taking that buffalo check pattern again, and we have a little shape drawn on there for some wings. It is doubled up so I can cut 2 at one time. We need a total of 4 for this project, and then we are going to use some pipe cleaners in between them so that the wings will stand out, and we're going to put those on our bat. that's left is to attach our wings and put all of our pieces onto our wreath. And here is the final reveal. I hope you enjoyed this today, and I hope that you'll check out the playlist in my description. And if you liked what you see, just give me a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that bell, let me know you came by with a comment. And as always, stay peachy.